Hey there, it's James Taylor, and I'm delighted today to welcome onto the show Sha Nacino. Sha is a trusted global speaker on gratitude, happiness, and productivity, a Jack Canfield certified trainer on success principles, and a prolific author of 12 books. She is recognized as a distinguished Toastmaster, the highest award given by Toastmasters International to its members worldwide. A student of some of the world's best teachers, Bo Sanchez, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, and Tony Robbins, Sha loves to write books and teach people how to write books through her 90-day book writing challenge. To date, Sha has addressed thousands of audiences from more than 26 countries globally. She is also the founder of HR Summit Global, Global Authors Summit, and World Gratitude Summit. And this year, we were actually both recipients of an award, and she at the same event, and she received Female Entrepreneur of the Year award by the United Nations Global Entrepreneur Council. So great award to get. And Sha, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here, James. Thank you for inviting me.
So I was just saying that you just picked up that amazing award for the United Nations Global Entrepreneur Council. What was the event like? I believe it was in Chennai in India.
Right, it was a beautiful event, and I didn't know that it was such a prestigious event. I learned this unofficially that there were about 3,700 applications and nominations, and only about 50 were awarded. So it was beautiful. And I met a lot of people from more than 15 countries who were also awardees.
Well, congratulations, because it's interesting through doing Speakers U, and obviously you're a Speakers U student as well. And there are the Speakers U community is fantastic. But whenever people say to me, like, who's doing really interesting stuff in the community just now, and I often mention your name because one of the things I think you're so good at is actually taking action. You know, a lot of people talk about things, but you will learn something, learn a concept, learn a strategy, learn a technique. And not only do you take action on it, but usually by the next week you've said, hey, James, I tried that thing out. I did this. And in fact, I even tried this little extra thing as well. What do you think of this? So where do you get where did you learn that ability to really be action orientated? Because not all people are like that, and they don't go to those lengths.
So my background was I was an employee for 9 years. And, you know, as an employee, if you have ideas, you cannot just incorporate them right away because there has to be approvals from the higher bosses. And when I become an entrepreneur, I really love the flexibility to be able to execute your ideas. And I think one of the things that I really learned early on was not to be afraid to make mistakes. So I like whenever I attend a seminar or a gathering or an event, I just look for one thing, one key takeaway. I don't have to look for so many things, one key takeaway. And from that one key takeaway, what action can I do right away? And I just love taking action. I have a small team, so we're pretty dynamic. And when I have an idea, I communicate it with my team, and sometimes within a few hours we execute, or sometimes a few days or a few weeks we execute.
Now, one of those ideas that you've executed very well is, I think you heard me speak at a conference. I was talking about online summits and virtual summits. And I remember you coming up to me saying, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then very quickly, you actually started your very first summit, and we were kind of worked on together on that. And then from there, you've gone on to build other summits where you're also co-hosting with other speakers, for example. So take me through that. What is it about online summits that you enjoy? Because you've done more than one now. What have you found have been the benefits of doing online or virtual summits, and where do you see them going in terms of how you bring into all the other things that you're doing in your career and in your professional life just now?
Right. So prior to meeting you at the Asia Professional Speakers Convention in 2018, I've seen some of your online summits, and I really, really wanted to meet you because I wanted to ask for your permission. James, can I also do the same? And so when I met you in Singapore, I asked you, James, can I do the same? And then you said, of course you can, and I'll be happy to help you. You don't even have to ask for my permission. So anyway, I met you in May. You did a talk on online summits, and we launched our first ever HR Summit Global in August. And I really had fun doing it. My main reason for doing the online summit was because as a speaker, I get invited by HR professionals to speak to their companies. So before my speaking engagements, I would talk to these HR professionals, and I see their problems. I know their concerns. when employees have problems, have concerns, they go to HR. But when HR have concerns or problems, their backs are against the wall because they need to learn how to motivate themselves. So I wanted to be the go-to person of HR professionals when they need some motivation. It's like my way of giving back to them because they're the ones giving me business. So when you had that online summit event lecture or talk in the Asia Professional Speakers Convention, um, I thought that the first summit I will do is for the HR professionals. So it's really to give value to the HR professionals. And I was also very happy because you and all the other global speakers agreed to speak at the summit and give value to the HR professionals. So I wanted the online summits to be communities wherein people can learn, can be inspired, and the speakers can also give value. It's a platform for them, for their messages to be heard.
So you did that very first one, and I was so impressed. I mean, you mentioned it. Obviously, we met in May, and then you launched it in August, like three months or so, getting up and running. What were the key? I mean, the good thing that you identified very early on was we speak a lot about your customer avatar, and you had a really good sense of your customer avatar, that HR professional that's struggling, that's needing motivated, needing those ideas. So that was great. You really identified that very early on. What were the key challenges that you found in creating your first online or virtual summit?
Key challenge at that time was the internet connection in the Philippines. So at that time, the internet connection in the Philippines in our office was very slow. So what I did was I had to rent a private room in a co-working space. And of course, the rent is not that cheap. And so I had to maximize doing interviews on a daily basis. So sometimes I would do 9 to 10 interviews on a given day.
Wow.
and I realized, wow, this can be so tiring mentally and also physically as regards my voice. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges that we had. But we had a lot of fun as well. My team and I had a lot of fun. And also, since it was the first time that we did the online summit, we had to really, I had to review your slides during the talk that we had in Singapore, and I had to follow. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? So that really helped me. Your talk really helped me, and your slides really helped me.
So you had that first one, and I always say when creating any type of online or virtual summit, the first one's always the most difficult because you're having to deal with the technological side. You're thinking about that. You're thinking about the content, then you have to think about the marketing and how to get it out into the world. The next summit that you decided to do, what was the next one after that?
Okay, the next one was the Overseas Filipino Summit. So the reason why we did that is because I send out inspirational emails every Monday, and I would usually receive lengthy emails from overseas Filipinos, usually overseas Filipino workers, and they share with me their problems, their concerns, etc. And some of the emails were so lengthy, they really divulge their concerns, and sometimes I would be able to answer to all of them, but sometimes because I receive hundreds of emails, we don't get to answer to each and every one. But I read everything that they've written me. And so I have a good idea, good sense on what their problems were. And I just sparked that in my mind. Okay, someday I'd like to do something for you. And so when the idea of online summits came to mind through your talk, I decided that the next set of people we'd like to serve are the overseas Filipinos. Because as overseas Filipinos, they have a lot of concerns. One of them is really missing their families a lot. And I also know a lot of speakers, starting speakers starters in the Philippines, who also want to have a platform where they can share the message. So it's like a melting pot of speakers wanting to be heard, and these people who want some guidance and inspiration as well.
So you knew kind of the technology side of running a virtual summit by this point. You knew how the kind of formats and things. What were the key learnings from that summit that you took away?
I think the key learning there is to have fun. I try to, because in the beginning, in my first summit, of course there were, I was trying to really follow the procedure, etc. In the Overseas Filipino Summit, I really tried to have fun because now I know how to do it, and also because the language that we used was mixed of our our first language, and also English. So it was more casual, it was more relaxed, it was more family oriented. Yeah, so I think the key learning there, I was intentional that, okay, I want to have fun when I do the Overseas Filipino Summit, and I want the audience as well to feel the fun, that even if they're abroad or they're far from their families, they have a community, online community, who they can share fun or happiness with.
But that's great. Once again, you identified your avatar. You knew who your avatar was, what a lot of the key challenges were, so you could provide some of that content. And then what was the one up that you did after that? Was that the authors summit that you moved into next?
Yes, we have the Global Authors Summit, but this is a live in-person event. So the reason why we did that was because I have this 90-day book writing challenge, and after the challenge, there is a book launch. And we've always had the introduction to book writing plus book launch 1.0 and then 2.0, 3.0, etc. In 2018, I noticed that so many authors are going to launch their books. So many graduates of the online course were going to launch their books, and they couldn't fit in one event. And so I decided, okay, and since some of these authors would fly in from so many other countries, although most of them are Filipinos, I decided, why not elevate this to another level? So instead of the internal book launch that we're having, which we usually have about 100 to 150 people during the book launch, so how about creating a global event for authors? And so we launched the Global Authors Summit, and I think we had around 350 to 400 people who attended the event, and we had about 22 authors who launched their books.
Okay, so you kind of took a slightly different direction with that one as well. And a question I'm sometimes asked is about virtual summits, online summits, is, well, what is the ROI? What's the return on that time, that money it costs to put these together? So what was the ROI? Was it similar things that you were looking to get from each summit, or was it slightly different? You were measuring success in slightly different ways from the different summits?
So I think the ROI for the 2 online summits that I did was, number one is trust. You're building trust and relationship with your audience. And I know that trust, the basis of any business transaction is trust. So if you build trust with the audience, I was hoping that you can get also speaking engagements from there. But the main reason really for me doing the HR Summit Global was, number one, to give value. Number two, I wanted to build relationship with all the other speakers and learn from them as well, and for them to have a platform to share their message. And number three, this is the effect now. So these are the causes why I put up the online summits. The effect that I want, the effect would be, if I get speaking engagements from that summit, then that would be a big bonus. And I think it's paying, because I have an invitation to speak in Maldives next month in August. And yeah.
And I think we were speaking on stage together in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia recently. And,
right.
and I see you've been in Paris. I think you were in the other day, and then California, I think, as well. So you're certainly helping also build your brand internationally.
Right. Yes, definitely. So it builds your brand internationally. You were right, James. I forgot about that. So James and I shared the stage in India. And then I also spoke in Malaysia with James. And then I was the host for the post-convention in Singapore in May as well. And Fantastic. I also had a speaking engagement in New York this March 2019.
Wonderful. So you're spreading your wings. You're going global now as well. And this new summit that you're working on at the moment, you decided to do something which I always actually encourage a lot of speakers to do, because I often think a lot of speakers we can get very in our own thing, and we can get very I sometimes call a lot of speakers lone wolves. They just focus on their own thing and don't think the more the community side of it. And I often encourage a lot of speakers to, if you're doing a summit, whether your first or subsequent summits, to co-host one, because it can add a lot of fun, and it takes some of the pressure off as well. And you can go into areas that maybe you're not known as the expert in at the moment, but allows you to move kind of sideways a little bit as well.
Right.
So tell us about this new one you've got going on, which you're actually doing with another Speakers U member.
Right. So I'm doing this with Jonathan Lau, also a Speakers U member. He was the former president of the Global Speakers Federation as well. And he actually invited me, Sha, can we do a project together, an online summit together? And so we decided to put up the Global Success Summit. And so both of us are members of Speakers U of James Taylor. And also, both of us are Jack Canfield certified trainers on success principles. So that's where the word success came from. And then we decided to focus on 5 pillars. So sales, service, leadership, communication, and digital marketing. So obviously, my expertise there is only on communication, one pillar. And this is good because Jonathan Lau is really known for sales and service. And so he gets to interview a lot of people from those pillars. And I get to interview some people from communication. And we both get to interview some people from the leadership and then the digital marketing sphere.
And in terms of how you're dividing up the workload, so are you doing kind of 50-50 interviews, or is he going to do more of the interviews than you're going to, because I know you've got a team that work for you as well. Is your team going to help on doing all the infrastructure and the launching and the marketing?
True. So John will do most of the interviews because he knew more of the people who will be guesting in the summit, and I'll do more of the back end, so editing of the videos, setting up of the systems, etc., and also the marketing plan.
Now, I first heard of your work more through your writing than I did anything else, but more before the speaking side. So you're known as an author coach, writing coach as well. How have these online summits, they worked alongside your writing and your author coaching? Because I would imagine we have other Speakers U members like Shirley Taylor, for example, who have used a lot of their content from their summits in order to put them into books. Is that something that you've done, or do you see them as quite separate types of products?
It's a bit separate, but I think the way to marry the two was that now I'm a speaker on gratitude, and one of the questions I asked during the HR Summit Global, one of the outro questions I asked was, how important is gratitude in life and in business? And that is something that I can also incorporate because I'm writing a book on gratitude. And so now I can say that I've done some interviews with more than 30-40 people, global speakers who also shared their inputs on what gratitude is. So yeah.
So they can
I'm able to use some inputs from the interview. In the book I'm writing.
Was there any in kind of doing all? I mean, have you worked out how many interviews you've done now? You must have done a lot of interviews as part of all these virtual summits,
right?
So I'm guessing that I'm guessing you're up into the hundreds now.
Okay, maybe around 70, 80. Okay. Yeah, almost 100.
And yes. Were there any interviews that you did as part of that where someone, a guest, said something or did something that really it made you maybe rethink what you're doing in your own business and in your own life?
Yes, in fact, one of them is you, James, because I can see how strategic you were, especially in using automation and technology, and that is something that my team and I still have to work on, because some of the processes that we're doing are very manual, and so I'm still trying. How can I put more automation in what we're doing?
Fantastic.
So there.
But it's great. I mean, I think you've done such a good job on doing these virtual summits. When you start really moving into the marketing automation, it's going to be a piece of cake for you and your team. I know you'll be very good at executing on that as well. So where do we go now? Where do you go now? What's your next? What does the rest of this year look like for you?
Okay, so the rest of the year we'll do more online summits. We will relaunch the HR Summit Global, the Overseas Filipino Summit, and we're cooking up two new online summits. One is the Global Success Summit with Jonathan Lau, and the other one is the World Gratitude Summit. So the World Gratitude Summit is a bit different from the other summits I've done because this is a global movement. We want to encourage people to adopt the attitude of gratitude, and we're planning to launch this on September 21 during the World Gratitude Day.
Ah,
And also,
fantastic.
one of the things that we're really looking at is to have more speaking engagements globally, overseas. So this August, I was invited to speak in Maldives, and then a speakers bureau invited me to speak in Dubai.
Fantastic. So you're definitely you're expanding globally now, which is amazing. Um, so now you're going on to do these gigs in Maldives, in Dubai. I know you've just been in New York as well. What is in your speaker bag? What do you carry with you to all these various speaking engagements you do?
Okay, so I have my laptop, and then I have my clicker and some extra batteries, and then I have a USB as well. So I think those are just in my speaker's bag. I also have this small mic, tiny mic that I use because I love to vlog while on the road, and I just use my iPhone and then a little monopod. Yeah,
So
I have
that's
a
what.
gimbal, but I haven't been using it.
And I know I've seen you do a lot of things in terms of social media, which is really all about building your brand overall and the sense about gratitude. What's working for you when it comes to social media at the moment?
Okay, I think for social media, it's just a way to build awareness and to spur conversations. But what's really working for me right now is email marketing. So in terms of converting customers, email marketing really works. But I would say that social media is also very effective because I remembered I asked the organizers of the United Nations Global Entrepreneurs Council. I asked them, how did you get to know me? Because I didn't apply for the award. And they said, oh, we've been following you on social media for the past 6 months.
Wow.
So in a way, that was also actually building my brand. And I'm very grateful for that.
So you're going to be hitting the road next. You've got all these summits that are going to be coming up as well. If people want to learn a bit more about you and everything you're doing and following you online, where's the best place for them to go? That central point for them to go and find out more about you.
All right, so you may go to my website, shanacino.com. Or if you would like some of my fun side, or you may go to my Instagram account at sha_nacino.
And for anyone that's been maybe they've been hearing about Speakers U, we talked about Speakers U at the start. What have you found to be the benefits of being a Speakers U member?
Okay, so number one is the community. Number two is the one-on-one coaching with James Taylor. I'm actually surprised that James is pricing the Speakers U very, very low because that includes already the one-on-one coaching. And number three, I really liked all the contents in all the training videos. James, when I attend conventions or learning events, it's not really for the learning. I mean, the live events, it's not really for the learning. It's more of, to meet people and to observe how speakers do their job. Because I know that the information I need when it comes to building my career as a global speaker is all inside the Speakers U.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? I mean, I think that's been a big change in recent years about events, not just speakers events, but events more generally. I was at an event the other day attending. I wasn't speaking at it. And I left there thinking I could have watched all of that as videos, little YouTube videos, because some of the speakers already had YouTube videos. I didn't really need to physically go there. And unfortunately, the event didn't do a particularly good job in organizing the community and the connecting piece. And I just thought, what a huge waste, because the people like yourself, you're putting out so much great in terms of online summits for the content side. So when you come together for a live event, the content's out there already. What you want for those live events is the community that you were talking about. And we just, sometimes there was little conversation. I know you and I think in India, we had breakfast one morning and we're just sharing ideas and sharing strategies on how to build our speaking businesses. So I absolutely agree with you. I think that's where live events can really do well if they focus on that community piece.
Right, exactly.
So thank you so much for coming on today, Sha. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. I'm always deeply impressed about how quickly you're able to execute on your ideas. If people haven't checked out Sha, go and check out Sha's work. She's really doing a phenomenal job at building her brand internationally using virtual summits, but also combining that with her speaking and obviously with the writing side that she's known for primarily. So thank you so much, Sha, for coming on today, sharing all about your speaker's life. And I look forward to us sharing a stage together very soon.
My pleasure, James. And yes, I look forward to banding with you again and Allison and sharing ideas as well.
How would you like to get paid to travel the world to share your message and expertise? How would it feel to get paid $5,000, $10,000, or $25,000 to travel first class and stay in five-star hotels in exotic locations? What I've just described is the lifestyle of international keynote speakers. And you can join me and over 100 of the world's best keynote speakers and speaker trainers as they reveal their secrets to becoming a better speaker and getting booked to travel the world as a professional keynote speaker. And best of all, as it's an online summit, you don't even have to leave home. Plus, it's not going to cost you a single dollar, euro, pound, ruble, peso, or yen if you sign up for the free pass at internationalspeakerssummit.com. You're going to receive access to never seen before video interviews with over 40 of the world's best keynote speakers. In addition to this, you'll get access to archive interviews from some of last year's summit guests. So in total, you'll be able to watch in-depth interviews with over 100 incredible speakers and speaker trainers. You'll learn how to find a theme for your keynote presentation, how to craft your talk, how to get booked as a speaker, how much to charge, and ways to get paid to speak on stages all over the world. So what are you waiting for? Head over to internationalspeakerssummit.com now.